So here with Northern Blues senior coach Josh Fraser. Fraser, 14-point loss to Werribee. What are your immediate thoughts on the game?
Disappointment, obviously. I thought our first quarter side, we were quite poor in different parts of the game that we'd spoken about in the lead up, and we just couldn't execute. So I thought the boys' intent was okay. We just we didn't know our method, and we lost some personnel along the way, which meant we had to reshuffle. And to their absolute credit, the last quarter we fought it right out, and probably had opportunities in the first part of the quarter to hit the scoreboard, but it wasn't to be, and Werribee thoroughly deserved their win.
Just on those two boys who went off early, do you have any update on Daniel Gorringe and Andrew Phillips?
No, I don't at the moment. I mean, Gorringe couldn't come back on from sort of quarter time onwards, and Flip, we made the call probably 5 minutes into the third quarter to ice him, so it's far too early to understand the nature of their injuries or the severity, but we'll get more of an idea in the next sort of 24 to 48 hours.
What was the main message post-game?
Again, the detail, and sometimes it can be as small as nailing your tackles. It can be as small as hitting a free target in front of you. It can be as small as taking your opportunity in front of goal, and then those things compound, and you end up getting quite a big deficit, I suppose, in terms of margin in the game, and we weren't able to bring that closer throughout the day, and the little things kept coming back to bite us. So we've got some work to do, and there's been a theme in some of our performances so far where we haven't quite nailed it consistently, so we're fully aware of it, and I know the playing group will embrace that challenge of trying to get better.
It was a bit of a different circumstance considering we played Werribee twice before, but that was in a practice match. Did you take that previous form into today?
Oh, well, we looked at the game from 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we obviously watched a couple of their recent performances. We felt like we were well prepared going into the game. I don't think they threw anything at us that we weren't prepared for. But again, just there's one thing being able to have a plan in place, and another thing being able to execute it, and we were too inconsistent with that today, but we'll learn and we'll keep growing, and got good confidence in our group. They're a good, resilient group, and I know this loss hurts a lot of them. What
were the positives to take from the performance?
The fight back in the last quarter, when I think we may not have had a rotation, I'm not sure, so the boys kept coming, and probably the first quarter we got a really good glimpse of some of our good footy, so there's positives in that space, and I think some individuals performed really well. I'd probably prefer not to highlight them, but we had probably half a dozen guys who I thought performed really well on the day.
Do you focus on those positives and negatives in equal measure ahead of Richmond next Sunday?
Yeah, it's always equal measure, and I think regardless of whether we get a win or whether we fall short, we pull the game apart and try and embrace the good stuff and look for areas to improve. So that process doesn't change, and now we've got to be able to show the maturity and the competitive maturity to respond from a loss, and that'll be our chance against the Tigers or the Richmond Tigers in a week's time.